Yo, this is weird. This is weird for me. I'm not really used to talking to a camera, so if I look weird, just don't tell me. For most of you, this is gonna be like a voice reveal. I don't really talk in any of the videos that I make, and some of you probably only see me in pictures or in videos where my face is just like blank. So yeah, this is what I sound like. This is what I look like actively. This is part one of what I think is going to be a two-part series for, I guess, a cutting tutorial. A lot of people were asking me how I lost the weight that I did or how I made the transformation that I made. It was getting kind of redundant, saying the same thing over and over, and it's a lot harder to explain things, at least for me, through a text or even through like a voice message. So I would rather make this and then have like visual stuff on the screen to help. This is going to be a more simplified version. This is just the basics of everything that you need to know in order to lose weight. Nothing super specific, just the very basic things that you need to know in order to lose the fat that you want to lose. I want to say some things just as like ground rules before you even start this journey at all. If you're somebody that makes excuses a lot, and I mean like a lot, just don't even watch this. Like, if you give up really easily, if as soon as something's difficult, like you might stick to it for a week or a couple days, just don't even bother watching this because it's not for you. Or if you eat for pleasure instead of nutrition, just probably don't even watch this video because it's not for you. In order for you to succeed with this, you need to take any thought of it not happening and just get rid of it. You can't think of things like that. Like, people ask me, how do I stay motivated, or how did I stay consistent with it? And it's like, I didn't imagine anything else happening. I didn't imagine myself, I didn't think of, well, I don't feel motivated today, so what am I gonna do to keep myself motivated? I just didn't think about it, you know what I mean? Yeah, just don't even put that thought in your head. Don't put the thought in your head of giving up. Don't rely on motivation. Build positive habits. And this is something that Garrett Fry taught me, and probably not even with the intention of teaching me, but he said this and I'll never forget it. He said, when motivation leaves, and that's when motivation leaves, not if, because it will leave, you resort to your habits. And if you have bad habits, you'll always undo the progress that you made. But if your habits are good, you know what I mean? When you're stressed, you go on a walk, that's a good habit. That's a good way to combat stress because you're burning calories, especially in this kind of a weight loss situation. But if you're stressed out, and then instead you put a hoodie on and you go get ice cream and you lay down in bed, you're gonna gain weight, you know what I mean? Like, so build positive habits, don't rely on motivation. So from here on out, if you are one of those people, stop. It's New Year's. Fix your relationship with food. Food is not meant for pleasure. Food is meant for nutrition. Food is fuel for your body, not for your soul. If you make no excuses for yourself during this, like, you're gonna be more likely to succeed. Okay, so what I'm not gonna say in this video, for those of you that are advanced, I'm not gonna talk about carb cycling. I'm not gonna talk about the timing of your meals. I'm not gonna talk about insulin sensitivity. I'm not gonna talk about aldosterone, which is just like a water retention hormone. I'm not gonna talk about sodium versus potassium, which is like intracellular versus extracellular. It's just a bunch of stuff that would overwhelm those of you that are new to this or only want the basics. So I'm saving that stuff for the next video. For this entire process, I want you to know that the only way to lose weight is a caloric deficit. You could have no idea what those two words mean, and that's fine, because I'm going to tell you. But I want to get that out of the way, that that's the only way to lose weight. You can lose water weight, but I'm talking about fat that will stay off of you. So this isn't necessarily what you'll need in order to lose weight, but it will help you significantly, is a food scale, the MyFitnessPal app, and a non-stick pan. Or just Pam spray, and you'll see why later. So earlier I said that the only way to lose weight is a caloric deficit. All that is a deficit in the amount of calories that you eat. So first, I want to define what calories are, because everybody talks about that, but like, the word calorie has a bunch of different definitions depending on like what field you're using it in. But for this weight loss journey that you're going on right now, I want you to define it as a unit of measurement for energy. That's it. That's all you need to know. Either intake or expenditure. So you can get that from food, or you can burn it by running, by doing cardio, by working out, by walking, by digesting food. There's tons of things that you can do that burn calories. So for now, calories is just a unit of measurement for energy. Macros. This is another like key term for people that talk about weight loss or any kind of nutrition. Macros, it's just short for macronutrient. Macros are just a more specific version of calories. You have protein, carbs, and fat. When I say that macros are a more specific version of calories, here's what I mean. You cannot have calories without first having macros. 1 gram of protein is 4 calories, 1 gram of carbs is 4 calories, and 1 gram of fat is 9 calories. So if you had something with 1 gram of each of those, 1 gram protein before, 1 gram of carbs before, so that's 8, 1 gram of fat would be 9, so that's 17. 17 calories in that whole thing. That's how you calculate the amount of calories that are in food. What I'm about to say, this is only for those of you that are wanting to build muscle and lose fat, like the people that are, I guess, bodybuilding. The amount of protein you get in a day should be a minimum. Like, you cannot get any less than this amount, and then carbs and fats should be a maximum. Protein, normally, you need to get around 1 gram per pound of body weight to build muscle. All in all, macros are just a more specific version of calories. They're just the variables to determine the big number. All of this stuff is just a big equation. So BMR, that's another key term, and it stands for basal metabolic rate. It's how many calories your body burns without you moving all day. If you're bedridden all day, like you're sick or you're in a coma, you would still burn X amount of calories. And it can be higher or lower based on body fat percentage, age, muscle mass, like just a bunch of other things. Another key term, TDEE, just stands for total daily energy expenditure. It's the amount of calories that you burn all day, and that's different from BMR because most people aren't bedridden. Most people are up, you're walking around, you're checking the mail, you're taking the trash out, you're going to the store, you might be at school, you might have sports practice, you might work a warehouse job where you're walking around a lot. It's going to be higher for people that work a warehouse job and you're working 12s, taking 15K steps, than it would be for someone that's like a cashier and you're just kind of standing there unless you're on break. Okay, so now I want to define deficit, maintenance, and surplus. These are 3 terms people throw around a lot. It's kind of common sense, but some of you might not know. A deficit just means less than, maintenance means the same as, and surplus means more than, at least in this context. So calorically, a caloric deficit, you have to take in less than you burn off. Maintenance, you would take in the same amount that you burn off, and a surplus, you would take in more than what you burn. I want you to think of it like this. I want you to think of food for your body like gas for a car. If your gas tank is full, would you go back to the gas station and put 20 bucks in and keep filling it up and let it spill all over the ground? I hope not. I hope you would not do that. You don't need to do that with your body either. There's carbs spilling over, but for now, I'm just gonna call it calorically spilling over. I know it's not the proper term, but I just wanted to make sense to you guys. Calorically spilling over is what builds fat. When you have excess calories, when you are in a surplus, like I was saying before, it gets stored as fat. Whatever your body does not use for energy, it will store it as fat. Some things can get stored in the muscle as glycogen, but we'll talk about that in the next video. Just for now, just consider everything fat. You'll be a lot safer that way for now. So, how many calories do you need to cut in order to lose what amount of weight? It's going to take a deficit of 3,500 calories to lose 1 pound of fat. It seems like a big deficit to not lose a lot of weight, but I promise it's going to be more noticeable than you think it is. So if you're in a 500 calorie deficit every single day for a week, you would lose 1 pound, because 500 times 7 days in a week is 3,500. If you want to lose 2 pounds a week, you need to be in a 1,000 calorie deficit every day to make 7,000 calorie deficit in a week, which is 3,500 times 2, so on and so forth. Believe it or not, that's it. It's that simple. You could eat, let's say that you burn 2,500 calories in one day. If you ate 2,000 calories of peanut butter, you would lose weight. You would lose 1 pound a week. If you ate 2,000 calories of donuts, milk, cookies, chocolate, whatever it is, you would lose weight. You would not have a very good physique because you need more protein in order to build muscle and to get that shredded but also full look that you might be wanting. But yeah, that's literally all it takes, is just a deficit. Even if it's 50 calories, you will lose weight very slow, but you would still lose weight nonetheless. In order to figure out how many calories you're burning in a day, it's kind of hard to guess. You can go online and do a calorie calculator, and you could type in your weight, your height, whatever it is. Don't lie on there, because lying's only going to make it harder, and it'll give you the amount. It'll give you, it's a guesstimate, but the best advice that I can give you for really figuring out how much you burn, and you're not going to like to hear this, but it really is the best way, just trial and error. eat a certain amount for a week, and if you gain weight, then that means you're in a surplus. If you maintain weight, that means you're at maintenance. If you lose weight, then obviously you're in a deficit. If you lose 1 pound in that week, then that means you're in a 500 calorie deficit a day. If you lose 2 pounds, you're in a 1,000 calorie deficit. If you lose 1.5 pounds, you're in a 750 calorie deficit. It's all just big, boring, nerdy math, but it really is simple. Download the MyFitnessPal app. Everything that you eat needs to be tracked in the MyFitnessPal app. And when I say everything, I mean everything. Track it specifically. And that's why I said before that I think you need to get a food scale and weigh everything in grams. It is a more specific measurement, so you can get things more to like kind of a T. If you can't find whatever food that you're eating on the app, whenever you search it up, just type it in, create your own. Don't put one that's close to it. Don't just not track it because of it. It's frustrating at first, but it will become second nature, and then you'll hit a point where you don't even think about it anymore. You're just like, oh, okay, I'll track. You'll be tracking food as it's cooking, you know what I'm saying? Even if you go over calorically, even if you eat too much food for that day, still track it. If you ignore the fact that you did something you shouldn't have done, then you're more likely to do it again. I definitely don't feel good if I eat too much or if I binge, but what I do in order to kind of combat that is I'll tell somebody. And that's the next thing that's going to help you, is having an accountability partner. Do this with your friend, even if it's your parents, if it's your coworker, if it's whatever it is. Tell somebody that you're trying to do this and say, hey, like, I need you to help me. I need you to make sure, like, every day, if it comes down to you sending them a screenshot of what you've eaten at the end of the day, do it. Because that's the thing, it's really easy to give up and do things you shouldn't do when you think no one else is watching. If me telling you to do this, you feel kind of obligated, or if someone else, like if your boss told you to do something, or if your parents told you to do something, you would do it. So why don't you listen when you tell yourself you're gonna do something? You need to have enough respect for yourself to actually be accountable and stick to what you said you're gonna do. Okay, yeah, another thing. I said earlier you need a non-stick pan or that Pam spray. Don't cook in butter. Avoiding cooking in butter could literally save you hundreds of calories. And that alone is enough for you to lose weight. Just cutting out one thing, and your food's gonna taste, it might taste 5% different. It really doesn't taste that different. For those of you that want to bodybuild and build muscle and have a better physique, you need to set everything up on the MyFitnessPal app to where your protein is gonna be 1 gram per pound of body weight. So if you weigh 175 pounds, I weigh 174 pounds, so I need at least 174 grams. If you weigh 200 pounds, so you need 200 grams of protein, so on and so forth. Follow the profile that I kind of put on here. You can play with it, see what works for you. It will take time, but I promise it will be so worth it. I don't want this to encourage you to eat more, but you're gonna lose roughly 10% of the calories that you eat by digesting them. So if you eat 2,000 calories, you're gonna lose roughly 200 of them by digesting, so only 1,800 of those are net. Don't eat hundreds of calories over just because of that, but I just want to let you know you're in more of a deficit than you think you are. And lastly, meals need to be earned. If you ate bad yesterday, don't eat bad again today. If I had too much food yesterday, I cannot have too much food again today. I have not earned that. I haven't earned a reward yet. And myths to bust that I want to say, talking about losing weight and building muscle. The sauna does not burn fat. You will lose water weight and you'll gain it back as soon as you drink water. Calories don't build muscle. You do not have to eat big to get big. And have responsible rest days. If you're having a rest day, don't eat a bunch of food because you think you need to recover. Food does not help you recover. Rest helps you recover. On a rest day, you're gonna be burning less calories, so why would you eat more? You're not gonna help yourself recover. You're only going to get fat. You're going to undo a week of progress and dieting just because you wanna recover. You're being lazy. That's it. So yeah, if there's any other questions that you guys have, you can DM me, you can comment it, whatever it is. There will be a more specific version of this video coming out later on, like I said before. Yeah, that's everything that you guys need to know to lose weight. Other than that, I guess I'll see you guys in the next video.